Andrew Yang was recently asked, you can see this headline, he was asked about a potential third party run if he's not the Democratic nominee. And he responded by saying, yes, I would never do anything that would increase the chances of Donald Trump becoming president. The goal is to beat that man, get him out of the Oval Office. I genuinely believe I'm the strongest candidate to defeat Trump in the general election, but if I'm not the nominee, I would 100% support whoever that nominee is. And I was actually frustrated by not his answer's great, but by the question, because he has never once even hinted at a third party run. He's repeatedly said he wouldn't do that. And yet, like, of the little coverage that he gets, it has to be like, are you gonna betray us? Are you gonna try to get Donald Trump reelected? I don't know, what do you think about that?
No, it's despicable. It's once again the media trying to demonize the candidates who are non-traditional. I mean, I'm no fan of Tulsi Gabbard, but the criticism of her and trying to say that she's a Russian asset and that she's gonna mount a third party run as well, I mean, that's a little more likely than Andrew Yang, who has never once given any indication that he would be a third party candidate. He's been a Democrat through and through, and just because he isn't an official congressman or an esteemed senator, and that he's an outsider candidate who's running on a different set of ideas, this is what they're trying to pigeonhole him as. I mean, the Bernie Sanders coverage, mainstream media coverage is terrible, but this time around, it might even be worse for someone like Andrew Yang, and I understand the frustration of his supporters.
Yeah, and I mean, once the Hillary feud dies down, Tulsi will probably get the same sorts of questions that Andrew Yang just did. But she has been asked about third party runs in the past, and she has very clearly said that she would not ever do that. Now, hypothetically, she could flip on that, but she's been very clear that she's not gonna do that. And so if people are trying to attack her by saying that's her plan, she has been incredibly clear about it in the past. And look, she was obviously a huge supporter of Bernie Sanders in 2016, but like Bernie Sanders in the general election, she supported Hillary Clinton. Like, that is a level of loyalty that is just silenced and cast into the shadows when people are trying to pitch her as a threat to the process now. She's running, which she's allowed to do in a primary, and if she doesn't succeed, there's every reason to believe that she's gonna support whoever the nominee is. And so Andrew Yang is being like very game and like he's giving good response to this, but if I were him, I would be very frustrated about this being the limit of the media's attention on his candidacy, especially when he has, I may not agree with his plans necessarily, but he has a lot of interesting plans that other people are not talking about.
Absolutely, and then we talk about the smug reaction to the freedom dividend, which, by the way, is like a pretty good idea. And just the general grossness. I mean, Kamala Harris legitimately laughed at him at one point during the debate. So I think we're seeing the culmination of the establishment candidates and the establishment press looking and how they view Andrew Yang. And I think it only helps him with his supporters because outsider status is actually pretty popular when you talk to the general public.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.